Real fancy effects there, producer Ray. I almost had a stroke, but looked good. Welcome to the show. The Post Belichick Era has finally begun, ladies and gentlemen. The Krafts have got it right, but still, some of you out there, I'm assuming, Bobby, can't accept what they've gotten right. What I asked for months ago, they finally got it right. That's what I want to talk about on the show. The Patriots got it right, but some of you can't accept that. The Belichick Era, we're finally moving on after the interim experience that was Gerard Mayo. We've got our guys to carry us through to the next era here. But for some reason, you still want to bitch about it. I don't know why. I guess we'll find out. But that's where I want to start. This is what I wanted. Opening takes as usual. I'm going to start, Ray. Don't steal mine. You go back on suspension, you fucking son of a bitch. This is what I wanted. Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels. I asked for this months ago. I asked for this before it was known that Mayo's getting fired. The writing was on the wall. These are the guys you wanted. It's what everyone should want. There is some, I won't say that there's not any cracks in the pavement here. Certainly the motivation between Josh McDaniels is something we can talk about. But your franchise was at such a level of shit. You couldn't afford the risk of going out there and hiring a Ben Johnson or doing a full, the guys that wanted the Krafts to go do a full job search are the same ones saying that they don't trust their decisions. So you can't have it both ways. So I'd like to talk about that more in the show. Until then, Raymond, your opening take. You're muted.
I am. What we have this weekend is a Patriots fans rooting for the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs could do something the Patriots and the rest of the NFL hasn't been able to do, win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And like a jealous ex-boyfriend in high school, you can't have that, then no one else can. Patriots during that 20-year run of dominance couldn't win 3 in a row, and the rest of the NFL can't either. I don't want the chance of Mahomes and company going back to the Super Bowl with the slightest chance of competing for that three-peat. That's why myself and all of New England should be rolling with the Buffalo Bills this weekend, baby. Go Bills. Go Bills.
That's Jim Kelly jersey? Or is it your wife's jersey?
Is she a Bills fan and that's her jersey?
That's just Kelly's jersey.
It's Jim Kelly jersey.
It's Kelly's jersey. It's not going to fit, Ray. Don't do it. All right. Good job.
There we go. Go Bills.
If everyone's not a Redskins fan going to this weekend through the Super Bowl, then you're an asshole. We can certainly talk about that if you'd like. Bobby, your opening take.
Looks like the tide is starting to turn on old Joey Maz. I stuck with it. I stuck with my opinion. I think I'm slowly becoming more vindicated in my initial impressions of coaches. I was the first person on planet Earth to call Gerard Mayo an asshole. I'm pretty sure it's verifiably checked. You can look it up. I was also the first person on Earth to call Joey Maz an asshole. And they are, in fact, both assholes. The world is coming around to it. I should be listened more often. I should be respected more for my opinions. And the fact that I am not is a wholesale crime, and I will not take it anymore.
Relax, guy named Rob. You kept your job, right?
That was beautiful.
I thought it came off pretty good.
In a slew of layoffs, you kept your job. And also...
There were demotions. Don't you listen to what I say?
No,
I listened. I listened to the whole thing.
That starts to. And also, Bill Belichick would like you to hold his beer on the first person that called Gerard Mayo an asshole. So just check yourself at the door, but it might not be documented. You might be right on that. Did the Patriots get it right? We will talk about the coaches are hired. They continue to bring on staff here, but we've got our coordinators in the building, led by one Mike Vrabel. Did they get it right? You know my opinion on that. I'd like to flesh that out a little bit more. We got fleshed your mother out last night, Raymond, and get these guys' opinions on it. 10 questions from around the NFL from a guy named Rob. Celtics, are they front-running pussies? They are.
Right, they are.
And is it Joe Mazzula's fault? Is Bobby right and vindicated? Also, trade deadline's right around the corner. We haven't talked about that yet. Bruins, are they finally doing what's right, what we've been calling for a long time? The Red Sox will never change. You can yell at them all you want. They are the same. We'll tell you why. Dr. Big Mac's Big Brain, what do you want invented when you were a youth? I never totally understand the concepts that come out of the Big Brain. So we'll, again, flesh that one out. Your mother, simplest minds of the week. Welcome to the Semi Sports Show, Friday Rewind, January 24th, live Thursday, January 23rd. Welcome. The Celtics are dumb front-running pussies. This is the same team they have been for 4 years running.
Well, my worst nightmare came true. Mazzula and Mayo are friends. What the fuck? Apparently, they've known each other since Virginia. They have these docking sessions where they talk about ball and managing people.
I'm on vacation. I'm going to quay all these. I'm going to fucking watch them this week.
Do you say quay?
Is it not quay?
It's Q. It's Q. It's Q-U-E. You idiot. If you're watching on YouTube, you're welcome. Ray looks good, kind of like a master plumber, if you would, in waiting. So congratulations to that. New room for Bobby, we're always excited about. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, rate, subscribe, review, tell your friends, as always, tell your mothers. Tell them about the newsletter. You can get that on SomeMindSports.com or any one of the social sites. Just click on the bio. You're going to get the latest content, all of the podcasts, all of the blogs, behind the scenes, top 5, behind the paywall, new merchandise. We've got best picks in the business. So join the newsletter. Very easy. Go to SomeMindSports.com. You can find it there. All right, let's do some Patriots talk. Did they get it right? I've said my piece on this, but I'll just lay it up to you. I know you guys talked about the Mike Vrabel hire last week. We'll rehash some of that. You got Vrabel as head coach. This week, Josh McDaniels hired as the offensive coordinator. Terrell Williams, just a day or so ago, hired as the defensive coordinator. And they retained Jeremy Springer as your special teams coordinator. Look, simply put, I'll just give you the resume, then you can tell me what your experience is. I'm going to sway this heavily. Simply put, the Patriots hired the most experienced head coach on the market, the most experienced offensive coordinator in the market, the two guys that were most qualified for this job. The Patriots got them both. And people are upset about it because the familiarity and they're not high on the Krafts. Someone like Bobby is not high on the Krafts. They think they're assholes because this last year was a problem and a bad choice, and Gerard Mayo was a disaster. I totally get that. If you take that part out of it and you just look at the guys, you couldn't do any better, okay? You could not do any better. Maybe Ben Johnson has a higher ceiling. Maybe. We're not sure. The guy's never done it before. You're at the bottom of the fucking league. You should have the number 1 overall pick if it wasn't for that dope Gerard Mayo blowing the last game. You're the worst team in the league. You needed these guys. These are the guys you needed. You got them. You should be happy about it. Ray, just give me a solo because I'm going to tell you who these guys are and then get your opinion on it. Mike Vrabel, for anybody who needs a little refresher. Ohio State linebacker coach is where he came up coaching. Not through Bill Belichick. Never coached with Bill Belichick. Went to Ohio State as alma mater first as a linebacker coach. Worked his way on that team, by the way. Urban Meyer didn't want to hire him. He had a bad interview process. He had to work his way onto the coach, and I think coach for free. Then he went to the Texans under Billy O'Brien, was a linebacker coach there. Then he got his head coaching job at the Titans, in which he stayed 6 years, 3 of which made the playoffs, went 2-3 in the playoffs. 1 year was an AFC championship, got a division title, was a number 1 seed with Ryan freaking Tannehill, and also had Marcus Mariota in and out of his lineups when he was with the Titans. That's your head coach of the year to 2021. Josh McDaniels, 6-time Super Bowl champion, 3rd stint with the Patriots, started in 2001 with this New England Patriots team as a personnel assistant, worked his way up, obviously, to offensive coordinator and quarterback coach under Tom Brady through those different stints. Has failed multiple times as head coach. One time didn't even get to the city in Indianapolis. And now he's back for a 3rd stint. Pretty fucking good. These guys are pretty fucking good at their jobs. I'm going to start with you, Bobby, who probably hates the Krafts. Ray feels like he goes with the tides, depending on what the internet tells him to think from day to day. But you have been steadfast on calling these guys assholes since Gerard Mayo. So it's almost known knowledge now that McDaniels was basically a Kraft hire. But we think Vrabel would be okay with it, right? What's your thought on that? And are they still assholes for this move?
So to answer your question, did they get it right? They got it right enough. I certainly think that they got it right with Vrabel. To me, everything you say about McDaniels is true, but to present another point to it, he was not going to get a job outside of the New England Patriots job this year. He wasn't going to even be interviewed. So when you hire a candidate that nobody else was interested in, to me, there's just an inherent problem in that as well. But that doesn't take away his qualifications and what he's going to do for the team. I think that those two coaches will significantly raise the floor for a team that needs adults in the room, and that they'll be a much more functioning organization next year because they need someone that can run a program. So that's a good thing. It is what they needed. And are they assholes? Yes, of course they're assholes, because they still dictated this whole process and ultimately just did what they was most comfortable for them. Whether or not it was the right thing that what the team needed, they didn't pursue any other outside avenues other than former Patriots.
Yeah, so I mean that's where my point of contention comes in. Like, so what? What if they did this last year? The only reason we're calling them assholes for it is because last year didn't work. If they did this last year and they came and Mike Vrabel and McDaniels walked in to right after a 4-win team from Belichick cratering it, and they brought it back to what we were expecting this year, which was not much, 5 wins, 6 wins. Shut the fuck up, Bob. Patrick. If Mike Vrabel and McDaniels last year came in on the heels of Bill Belichick driving this thing into shit and got 6 or 7 wins and it looked like pointing up, we'd be calling the Kraft geniuses. We'd be going,
yeah, but they didn't, and they were assholes for a year. So
I mean, look, they made a bad mistake. Mike Vrabel wants to be here, right? It's not the Kraft's fault. He doesn't want to. Josh McDaniels wants to be here. The reason we're not hearing any other Josh McDaniels scutter across the country is not because he sucks. It's because he's basically had this job in the bag for a year, I would bet, and doesn't want to be anywhere else. He lives here. His kids go to school here. These guys want to be here. So in any other time in Patriots era, we'd be stroking ourselves over the fact that the Krafts are such good owners that the best candidates on the market want to come here. But because of 1 year of bad decision-making and anointing Gerard Mayo, who is a douchebag as a coach, as a guy, maybe not, but he sucked as a coach. Now it's like, well, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. We can't trust them. It's the right thing. Best guys in the market. Totally great. I think it's going to work, but fucking Krafts. They didn't do it right. They should have talked to everybody possible and then did what they wanted to do. The logic doesn't line up for that. And I hear it everywhere. And I get it. I just don't agree with it.
Patriots fans are like an angry ex-wife. Pretty much, they're going through the checklist. You got the right coordinators, but still, Kraft's cheap. Like, you have to wait for free agency. Then when that's over with, the draft's coming up. They're gonna be like, well, they can't fucking draft right, and they don't like to spend money. So then you have to check that box off. So the Krafts are just gonna slowly, as time goes on, is just check those boxes until training camp starts. That's my opinion.
You bring up another good point there, Raymond, with the possibility of another coordinator being paid by another team. There's too many things that do just generally irritate us about Kraft business that it just seems like it's just such a perfect thing for them, which just makes it unpalatable, even though it does make sense.
Yeah, those things have come to light. The Krafts being cheap and not spending the money. But again, they didn't have to because they were so good for so long, right? So I don't know. I just results are results, right? And they don't have them now. So unless they adapt and they shift their strategy, then yeah, we can continue to bag on them. I said I'm going to give them 1 more year. Pretty good start for me hiring these guys as turning the ship around.
The way I view the McDaniels hire, he's a great guy to have them come in now and reset the floor and reset the bar to get this team to functioning. If he isn't able after like 2 or 3 years to get Drake May to the level we think that he should be, then he should be moved on from for the high ceiling candidate. They shouldn't just treat him like you're here and you can stay as long as you want.
I don't disagree with that. And what I'm hearing nobody talk about is what I'm hearing everybody talk about is they're worried about Josh McDaniels coming in, putting a new system in and screwing with Drake May and making it too hard for him, which number one, and we have some stuff we can go through with.
I don't think May's dumb. I think he's fine.
With Josh McDaniels and his plan here. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Drake can handle it. What I'm not hearing is a quarterback in the NFL needs like 2 or 3 years and then he calls the shots, right? And then it's his offense. So you're right, Bobby. In 2 or 3 years, Drake May and Josh McDaniels develop. Drake May develops to this point. He understands an offense. If they believe that Josh McDaniels is not the guy to get them over the top, then they're going to go, okay, who's the guy that Drake can work with to get us over the top? Not the other way around. It's the quarterback that'll drive it. Which is
start. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say they're going to collaborate once he knows, like Josh McDaniels can take his hands off the steering wheel and be like, all right, he can drive the truck himself, kind of thing. Like pretty much year one, he's going to get that whole new Patriots plan back into full effect for Drake May. He's going to learn it. He's going to do everything that Josh McDaniels says. But as slowly time goes on, by year three, like you guys are saying, like the training wheels are off, and they're going to collab, and they're going to know what works for best for both parties.
Yeah, one of the biggest check marks for Josh McDaniels is developing quarterbacks. Although the internet sloths will combat you on that too, because if you're not Tom Brady around here, you're some bum ass quarterback that doesn't belong anywhere.
But he did well with Matt Castle. He did well with Cam Newton for that 1 year. He did well with Mac Jones his rookie year. He did well with Jacoby Brissett. He did well with fucking Jimmy Garoppolo.
Hoyer was around.
Yeah,
it's not like McDaniels has no blemishes. Obviously, the head coaching stints. Denver was worse than the Raiders. I don't think anybody has succeeded with the Raiders organization since the old man died. So I think he kind of got screwed in Las Vegas. So I don't hold that too much against him. But it is a blemish, right? He went to St. Louis for a year, and that offense wasn't great. He was not the offensive coordinator, but he had a hand in it. But his success at New England is unparalleled. It's unmatched. Yes, he had Tom Brady for a lot of it, but the last time he was here, he had the 6th highest points in the league with Mac freaking Jones as a rookie.
He did.
And that's inflated a little bit. However, since he left, what has the offense looked like in New England?
Shit.
Absolute dog shit. The math they did on that, just to knock down this debate that the Mac Jones year with Josh McDaniels wasn't as good as what people think. There were 3 games in which they inflated the numbers against the Jets, the Jags, and another team. I forget.
The Browns game they played really well in?
45 points, 50-something points. If you take those games out, Mac Jones' rookie year with Josh McDaniels, they averaged 21. What have they averaged since then? 17, 16. So shut the fuck up. And we know Mac Jones is a loser backup quarterback, and he was a rookie at the time. With Bill Belichick put the training wheels on him. For the first 6 weeks, they wouldn't let him throw into the end zone from the 20-yard line. I'm not worried about Josh McDaniels. Can I scratch this itch? Because I haven't been able to talk about Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is everything Gerard Mayo thinks he is. So I've got some pieces from The Athletic and I think The Herald here. This first one from Chad Graff. Let me just read this out of his article. Mike Vrabel, those who know him best describe him in the nicest way possible as an empathetic asshole, which is what I think I am. Maybe that's why I like him so much. In warm-ups before 2012 game against the rival Michigan, Vrabel headbutted a helmet-wearing Buckeyes player he coached that day with a bloody stitched-up forehead. The players loved him for his intensity and because he looked out for him. A little hard-on move in a vacuum, but he goes on to say he probably didn't make any money at Ohio State. He took care of his players like nobody else. They would, to a man, say that he's not only a great coach, but also a father figure and a best friend. Some people would say there's an arrogance to him, but there's humility that you might not see because of the way he comes off, his confidence level and his ability to speak. He understands that you get what you deserve and you get what you earn, no matter whether you've played for him for 2 years or 14 years. That's the exact guy Gerard Mayo wants to be and thinks he is. He just doesn't have the skills to actually pull it off, right? So Mike Vrabel is going to coach him hard. He's going to beat the shit out of him, but and he's going to make them better football players. And on the same time, he's going to treat them with respect as guys when they're not on the field, which is what you want. I'm going to keep reading this, but it was such a breath of fresh air to hear all these quotes and like, oh, these are football guys. This isn't corporate bullshit nonsense that makes me roll my eyes every two sentences. These guys are smashing their heads on helmets. They understand, it's brotherhood. It's yeah, rah, rah, rah. But it sounds like a fucking football guy. It was just refreshing to read this stuff the last couple weeks or so. You guys want to speak on that a little bit before I keep reading?
Good, Rim.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Bobby?
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. They're actually football lifers that have actually been around and gone up the coaching ranks the appropriate way and have an actual resume, and they've done it before. This isn't going to be their first time, and there won't be rookie mistakes.
And they didn't go to a trip in Israel and get the job just by talking their way to getting the job.
No. In that article, Vrabel got the linebacking coach the year before Urban Meyer went to Ohio State. and then everyone had to reapply for a job under Urban Meyer. And I guess Vrabel's first interview was horrible. He just didn't interview very well, and whoever was backing him, I forget the name of the guy, defensive coordinator maybe, said just give him a chance. Interviewed again, still shitty. They're like, well, all right, trial basis, go coach for a week and we'll see. And he, earned the job almost instantly on the field, but then didn't get paid. I guess they didn't pay him, and he just kept coaching super hard and then got a job with the Texans. So, and
real quick with the Urban Meyer Vrabel stuff, did you guys see? This was during one of the Manning casts during a Monday night game. Vrabel talking about him with that one season that he had with Urban Meyer.
No.
So he coached that one season with Urban Meyer, and then years later he went back at some convention and ran into Urban. And so he walks up to him and says, "Hey, coach." And Urban Meyer goes, "Do I know you?" And he goes, "Yeah, my name's Mike Vrabel. I worked for you for a year." Urban Meyer is such a cunt that he literally forgot who Mike Vrabel was.
If you don't have
he said that on the Manning cast on live TV.
If you don't have tits, he doesn't give two fucks about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or some type of if you don't run a sub 4.540 and have some type of rap sheet, then he doesn't know who you are.
He's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to fire you, and you got the job." Yeah, I remember now.
Right. This is another thing that Gerard Mayo wants to be so badly, but doesn't have it. This is called buy-in. This is how you get buy-in from your football players, not trying to make them men out of boys with your nonsense in the locker room. This is how you do it. The on-field buy-in started early in his first season. In week 1, the Titans lost quarterback Marcus Mariota, both offensive tackles, and star tight end Delaney Walker to injuries. Heading into week 2, a game against Houston and Bill O'Brien, his old boss, when the Texans were good with Deshaun Watson, good team, the Titans were outmanned. But Vrabel laid it out exactly to his Titan teams how they would win. He said they'll run the ball 30 times, hold them to 17 points or fewer, and force 2 turnovers or at least win the turnover battle. The Titans needed to hit 2 of those marks, Vrabel said, and they incorporated some wildcat runs with Henry, ran the ball successfully, fake punt, yada, yada, yada. They ran the ball 34 times. They held the Texans to 17 points. They forced 1 turnover and did not turn the ball over. They won the game 20-17. The idea that you tell your players what you're going to do and why it's going to work, and then it works, is how you get buy-in and how you turn guys from boys into men on the football field, Gerard, not by slapping their ass in the fucking locker room. Again, just refreshing kind of shit to hear. Feels like we're back to football. That's kind of all I had. We touched on, so I had this piece from Andrew Callahan that starts his article. Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald starts his article about Josh McDaniels, picture perfect coach for Drake May. Obviously, history of developing quarterbacks. He's worked as a coordinator before. He's shown flexibility and creativity with his scheme, evolving year to year with the talent available and modern trends. He is not a flight risk, someone who could leave for a head coaching job in 2 or 3 years and interrupt whatever progress May and the offense make while the franchise comes back to relevancy. For the Patriots, Josh McDaniels was as close to perfect as perfect gets. And I agree with him. It may not be the sexiest. It may not be the highest ceiling, but it's exactly what they needed. And, Vrabel and McDaniels, the confidence is sky high that you're going to get back to better than normal, right? You're going to bring your bar and your floor very high. And hopefully if Drake May is the talent that everybody thinks he is, and the Krafts turn the corner and spend some money, and they actually bring talent in on the roster, then you're really cooking with gas, and you should be a playoff team next year. I mean, really. Patrick, is Rich going for a Frazier look, or did he leave the chess club? Some of us work for a living, you fucking loser. Anybody else want to chime in on the Josh McDaniels hire before we move on to Scott Zolak's opinion? All right, what does Zoe have to say?
He's not going to force him. I know this for a fact. He will not force him to run the Brady offense. That was Tom's offense. They took that thing to another level. Josh is smart. He understands the league. Christ, I remember last year during the interview process, he talks to all these guys getting interviewed. Like, offensive coordinators and play callers in the league talk as much as head coaches talk within the league. Like, that's how you study tape. If Josh feels that Drake is better off, terminology-wise, running a West Coast style offense. Josh will morph to that. That's how good he is. He's going to be able to advance things with Drake. Once Drake gets certain concepts down, it's like, what are you going to do next? What are we going to anticipate? What are we seeing as a defense? I just wonder last year, and I know AVP did a good job with Drake getting him week to week. How much did he sit down? How much did he talk coverage? How much did he talk about what do you anticipate in second quarter, third quarter? If we do this, they're going to do this. And it's just that multitude of everything Josh has been through. And I know he had some rough spots. I know he wasn't great in St. Louis. It didn't work out with the Raiders. Denver was great at the beginning. Then it hit a flat tire. He's a play caller. He's not a head coach. He's a really, really freaking good offensive coordinator. He's the most qualified guy that was out there, and they got it.
Thank you, Zoe. I feel vindicated. Also, self-conscious. Fuck you, Patrick. I put my hat on. I do have a question. I can answer my own question, but I will leave it up to you. How does the gel work? Did Vrabel know? So let's flesh this out just for 2 minutes. Was McDaniels a foregone conclusion when they were quote unquote interviewing Vrabel, or how did that conversation go? Was it, hey Mike, who's your idea for offensive coordinator? We've got Josh in the bag. We think he's a real good fit. We've been talking to him since October because we knew the guys we hired were about to fuck up our rookie quarterback. So we think he's great. We'd love for him to be part of this. If you're on board with that, we'll hire you on the spot. And did he have an opinion? Did he have options? Was he able to say no to that? Or was it, where do you think they land? Somewhere in the middle? What's the process on that? All right, I'll read this one too. Love that hairline is running faster than the Eagles from January 20th. Super fan Patrick. That was a good one.
That was a very good one.
No, that was excellent.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, it's been on the same level for like a decade. That 10 years ago.
The Eagles have been here for that long too.
Exactly.
Finally, we got someone doing something about it.
My hairline was like the border under Obama.
Exactly.
Maybe it'll come back. Maybe now it'll come back. Thanks, Trump. Maybe the recession will start going the other way. I doubt
You're
it.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Bobby?
Yeah, so listen, I think that Vrabel wanted this job that much that he probably was able to go ahead and be okay with that scenario. If you look at what's happened with Elliott Wolf, he's also here. It would appear that the Krafts kind of said that this is what we're looking to do. Do you want to fit into it? And that Vrabel is something that he wanted. Obviously, he had control over the defensive staff and all of the offensive assistants, but kind of two pieces that we were talking about possibly being out are still here. So,
Raymond?
No, I like all the moves. I mean, you have McDaniels coming back. He's going to help Drake May tremendously.
Not what I asked. You were not paying attention. You were laughing at me and worrying about me being mad at you for stupid political choices. McDaniels, I have a question. The question for me is if it wasn't Vrabel's guy and it was a forced marriage, can McDaniels handle it? I think is the question that should be asked.
Oh, that was the question.
Shut up, Ray. And the answer is yes. Of course he fucking can. He dealt with Belichick for 20 years. He understands his role. He understands what is being
familiar with Vrabel. They know each other.
They know each other. He's not pining for a head coaching job anymore. He understands what his role is. He's not going anywhere. Again, another reason why I think it fits. And Vrabel, by all accounts, is a empathetic asshole, which means he's difficult to deal with at times, and you need to have the right type of personality to do that. I don't think some fucking grad student quarterback coach from LA would have fit that as well as Josh McDaniels can do it. And I'm talking about whatever 28-year-old you wanted to come here from another offense who's never done it before and help the Patriots, which is what everybody else thinks would be better. Some guy I can't pronounce from Minnesota or LA, whatever quarterback coach and offensive staff member under McVay, or the hottest guy out there is the other option from Josh McDaniels, and I'm a no on that. I think they got their guy. All right, we've beat that to death. You mentioned it there just a second ago. Elliott Wolf is still employed. We will give the Krafts until after the draft to rectify that. Then that guy's got to go. If it doesn't happen then we can beat him on that. I'm not going to do it yet. Until then, headlines with the obvious one.
Thank you there, Richard. Don't look at the 40-point blowout for the Celtics had against the Golden State Warriors. That was all spite. Look at the whole month of January. Something's wrong with this team, and it showed again last night with a 118-114 overtime win against the Kawhi Leonard and James Harden-less Clippers team. Celtics play again tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers at 10 p.m. The Bruins have fallen to sixth place in the Atlantic Division, and my butthole is safe for another year from a tattoo. Bruins take on the Ottawa Senators at home tonight at 7. The Patriots now have their the coordinators, as Josh McDaniels agrees to come back. New England takes his rightful home as offensive coordinator, while Terrell Williams leaves Detroit as a defensive line coach and becomes the new defensive coordinator here in New England. It is conference championship weekend. The NFC, we have the Washington Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday at 3 p.m. Eagles are favored by 6 points, while the night game, we see the Bills traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the defending back-to-back champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, Sunday at 6:30. Chiefs are favored by only 1.5. And finally, the Red Sox signed no one this week and actually have saved money from last year and have more cap room this year than they did last year. This has been Headlines with the Obvious One. Now, 10 questions with a guy named Rob.
We got beautiful scenery. I wish I was there right now.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second because we did not talk about the defense coordinator, and this is how little I think we need to talk about it. Terrell Williams was hired defensive line coach for the Detroit Lions, worked with Mike Vrabel all 6 years under the Titans, went from D-line coach to assistant head coach for the Titans. Here's the biggest takeaway I have from that. They're on the same page. We mentioned this in a couple shows ago. The reason the success of Belichick had a lot to do with his hierarchy, everyone being on the same page, having the same mindset. And I think that's what you've got here. That's, I believe, certainly the case with Terrell Williams, who, if Vrabel had not taken a year off of coaching, would have continued to follow him basically wherever he went. Vrabel took the year off, so he went to Detroit and, had success there. So, I don't know anything about him other than that, but good hire, I guess. We'll see.
Bobby, what'd you say in our group chat? What'd you say he looks like?
A fat retard, I think. Yep. I think it's what it was, right?
Yeah, spot on.
My, other than his general appearance, my take on it is it's Mike Vrabel's defense, and that guy's defensive coordinator in name, and he'll do whatever it is he does, but it's going to be Mike Vrabel running that defense.
Yeah, except, and we don't have to go through it because we did a lot of Patriot stuff. We can go through it next week if we want. I like the resume of Terrell Williams. He's 50-something years old. He's been coaching for a long time. He has experience on both sides of the ball. He's got the same kind of personal demeanor as Mike Vrabel. Obviously, I think that's why they work well. There's quotes in here in these stories of Mike couldn't get to a guy, so Terrell stepped in. That's why he made him assistant coach. He made him the head coach for a preseason game, so on and so forth. So whether he is a hard R fatso or not, clearly a good football coach, I think. We'll find out. All right.
You could probably be both at the same time.
That's true.
All right. First question. Are you starting to believe the NFL is rigged?
Yes, I am.
The calls that the Chiefs get are getting out of control. At any point that the Texans got a foothold in that game, the refs put an immediate stop to it.
Mm-hmm. You guys make fun of me all the time because of wrestling, but you're looking at it right now every Sunday until February.
It's not rigged to that extent. Explain to me how it's rigged to that extent, Ray. Do they give the guys is this who was the running back for Houston where they said that they got the script in his locker?
Joe Mixon?
No.
Arian Foster?
Arian Foster. They have that? They write it down on a script sheet for The Rock. Go, here you go. You're going to lose to Triple H tonight, and here's your season. That's what
you
they
fucking
do.
Dweeb. How many wrestlers do you know? You've seen it.
He tries that talk like I'm a nerd and like I'm the only one, but he knows.
He knows.
the all professional sports is fixed because of Las Vegas, and the legalization of gambling is going to ruin. It's going to be the end of professional sports as we know it. But there's still too many people involved for it to be a full blown conspiracy. Could they get to a couple guys? Maybe. There are a couple refs. Obviously,
You need to get to the refs to slant a result.
Obviously, but when you are the best team and the best player in any sport, you're going to get favorable calls. That's what's happening for the Chiefs. There is some damning evidence that maybe some refs are on the up, not on the up and up. That the do-over play, which keeps popping up, where the Chiefs got 2 chances against the Cincinnati Bengals, that one feels fishy. This last week, where Mahomes gets the calls, Brady got the calls, Pat's got the calls. When you're good and when you're that good, Manning got calls. When you're that good, you get calls. So it's swayed, yes, but it's not a full-blown WWE script.
Very corporate shill answer. Will Ben Johnson finally turn the Bears into a contender?
Nope. The Bears will always be
Absolutely
losers.
not. No, he's going to crash and burn.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's fucked.
Yeah,
But he's going to have $13 million a year, so
He kind of looked like a goof during his opening press conference. Didn't he make fun of another coach?
he made fun of the Green Bay Packers coach.
Yeah.
I was not very high on Ben Johnson even coming to the Patriots. I don't think I push back on that whole let's just get the hottest guy from the hottest offense. I don't think that it has the success rate people think it has.
Well, look at the Dolphins.
World could obviously use more hot guys. How much of a chance do you give the Commanders versus the Eagles?
Good
69%.
chance.
I think it's a 50-50 game. He's the best player on the field.
So third time they're playing each other this year. I mean, anything can happen. I think they're going to know each other. It's going to be a low-scoring game, 6.5. First spread's way too high, I think. I think it's going to be closer to a field goal game.
I think, if anything, to go back to question one, the NFL will put a stop to it because I don't know if they want the Commanders in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to want an Eagles matchup just for everyone's national television sake. So I think I think you might see the refs be like, "Hold on here, folks. That's not what it says on this paper here."
Yeah. Okay, let's watch that with a close eye. I'm not diving into the conspiracy theory. Some things just are how they are. I give the Commanders a very, very high chance. I think the Eagles have been flirting a dangerous line all season long. They're relying on a running back, which can only get you so far in modern day NFL. If the ball needs to go in Jalen Hurts' hands to throw the ball 40 times for a win, they will lose. And Jaden Daniels will win. I think that kid's legit. And Commanders are on a heater right now. I'll take them. I'll take them outright. I think they're going to win.
Speaking of more gambling, here's some odds. Over or under 10 times Raymond has sex in 2025.
I'm going to go.
I'm at 3 for the year, by the way. I am at 3.
Good for you.
Strong chance I get to 4 this weekend.
Is there an opportunity for a push? 10 is 10 seems
If
like
of course you could push 10, yeah. If you think he lands on 10.
That's where it kind of rounds out, I think.
He's already behind the 8 ball. Well, I guess he could still be on. I mean, if you're at
News alert, Robert! News alert!
Yeah.
I'm at 2.
Yes. Good for you, Raymond. You had a strong week.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good for you. Was it the promotion? Was it the promotion?
I brought the Golden Plunger home. Just saying.
Does it still smell like your mother's ass?
Fine.
All right, never mind. With that news, I go the over.
Yeah,
I thought he was at 0.
I think over's right. The thing with Papa Ray is he goes in real heavy spurts.
I'm like a rabbit.
And then it's a real dry spell. He probably just does something stupid, and she
last
gets
week
mad
he
at
was
him.
very low, which is why I brought this question in.
Yeah, look at him. He's all chirpy now. He doesn't feel like he has to say a whole lot. He's feeling good.
I feel
He's probably some
Was one of them today?
Nope. It was the Sunday, and then 2 nights ago. I might go for 3. I might go for 3 tonight.
Go for it.
Good.
What's the worst that could happen?
Nothing.
No? Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, you're not gonna say no to me, bitch.
Good for you. Happy to hear that, Raymond.
Thank you.
Will the Lions decline with the losses of all their coaching brain trust here?
Yep. We're gonna see the 90s Lions all over again.
Yeah, window's closed.
The Lions should also Jared Goff immediately. That guy blows. They need to get rid of him. They have a good team, and he's not good enough.
They just need to draft a guy. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's probably not going to give him over the top. and now they've lost, their strength of their team and their offensive coordinator, and they need to start drafting quarterbacks. But their window's closed. I mean, they can hang on for a little bit, but I don't know what they're going to do to get over it. This is another team that never can make the Super Bowl, like ever. This is what life is. The Detroit Lions don't make the Super Bowl. The Bills don't win it. This is what has to stay true. The Cubs fucked it up, and selfishly, honestly, the Red Sox fucked it up when they won, and it's not as fun anymore. Don't do it, Lions. Don't do it, Bills. Don't win. It's not fun.
Know your role. What can these crappy NFL teams do to make their job more attractive?
Hookers, cocaine.
Las Vegas has that in spades, and they can't hire anybody.
But they also have ladyboys over there, and it's probably frightening a lot of those guys away.
Yeah, that's true. That's difficult to combat.
Bad ownership is bad ownership, and that's why teams like the Browns are horrible forever. It's why a team like the Bengals, even though they have a top six guy in Joe Burrow, can't get out of their own way. Can you stop fucking with your mic, Raymond? It's because don't give me in the hands as I see you futzing in on your desk and pop. Mute it or something. Drive me insane. It's the ownership. You can't get rid of bad ownership. They own the team. Cereal Bowl haircut there in Las Vegas is going to own the team for another 25 years, and they're going to suck for another 25 years. The guy in Jacksonville is doing his best not to suck. He's dumping money into it. But he made the bad call this year trying to keep his GM and hire coaches. Coaches went into there and denied that job 2 or 3 times. The offensive coordinator from the Bucs and somebody else. Belichick would even
that Bucs guy is now talking to him again because then they went ahead and shit canned the GM.
Right. So maybe that owner, Shad Khan, is that his name? Maybe he will start to get it. He's a new owner, so maybe he's learning, but at least he's trying. But guys like Vegas and the Browns, the Bengals, who are just cheap and don't give a fuck. Jets, the meddling. No, you can't get past it. They will always suck.
It is the owners. Agreed. What will the Vikings do at QB this season, off season?
Nothing. They have JJ McCarthy ready to go.
You think they're going to do that? They're just going to roll in. They should just sign Sam Darnold to another cheap $10 million deal and run the whole thing back.
He'll get more than $10 million on the market, but just franchise him for 34 and run
there
it
you
back.
go. True.
That's too much. No, I think it's JJ's job. I think JJ's ready to go.
What is
make him earn it? He hasn't earned shit yet.
$34 million is a lot of money. It was
not.
Okay.
What is 34 million?
Not for an NFL team that wants to win games. You got to have that's the most important position.
It's the going rate for a quarterback. He was a MVP candidate. What do you? He's going to go get a job that's going to pay him more than that. More than.
Are you saying franchise him and then
more than good backup money
and then trade him?
No, it's JJ McCarthy hasn't done shit. You don't know if he's going to be good. You can't take a team that is on the precipice of a Super Bowl and just throw it away with a quarterback who has a bad knee who hasn't proven shit. Pay Sam Darnold $34 million for 1 year. It's fake money, half of it anyway, and run it back and see if and then try to develop JJ McCarthy for next year. And if that doesn't work, franchise him fucking Darnold again. You can do it 2 years in a row. Keep it going. Tom Brady's and Patrick Mahomes don't come around every day. Sam Darnold was a top 5 quarterback this year. You don't get much better than him. I know he shit his pants at the end, but maybe he just needs some experience or learn to take the ball out of his hands or something. You can't just throw that away for what? $15 more million than you think he's worth?
It's just if the only thing you have to give is money, it's no brainer.
Yeah.
Is Jimmy Butler everything that's good and bad about the current state of the NBA?
This is the LeBron NBA right here. This is like it personified. Like he wants to go win a championship. He doesn't want to be in Miami because he knows his time's run out there. So now he wants to go ring chasing in Phoenix. And that was going to be like a 5-team trade just to make this all happen. Yeah, Jimmy Butler is exactly what's wrong with the NBA.
He's an awesome player and he's a cool guy to root for, but he does this every team. He gets to the team and then like year 2.5, he's great and they have a run. And then after that run, he just slowly deteriorates and blames everybody else around him. Yeah, classic self-destructive behavior.
Player entitlement, Ray's right. LeBron NBA player entitlement at its peak, which I think is going down now, in large part due to the NBA and the rules that they've put in place and the contracts and stuff that they have. But I also think this new generation has a different mentality. It's a bigger conversation for another day, but lost a lot of respect for the way Jimmy Butler handled this Miami. This is the worst that he's done this from every team that he's been on, and he's done it on every single team. This is the worst. The way that the callous behavior that he would show up and not play, and good for Miami. Pat Riley is the perfect guy to handle it. It's like, you want to do this? Fuck you. I'll tank this fucking season. I will suspend you. I'll take your money and I'll trade you to goddamn Portland, you jackass. He won't go somewhere good. I bet you he won't.
No.
Pat Riley's full of spite.
They're trying to facilitate him going to Phoenix so they can get Bradley Beal back.
Well, that's a bad day. You don't want Bradley Beal. Go get a first round.
He is about equally as cunty as Jimmy Butler.
You think Jimmy Butler's dad's really upset with how things are going and how he didn't stay with one team like his father did?
Michael Jordan?
Yep.
I think Jimmy Butler's dad is still as disappointed in Jimmy Butler as he ever was, which is why he left that little shit. Will the Rams fall apart if Matthew Stafford retires?
Yep.
No.
You think they'll be able to find a new quarterback and just kind of keep on trucking?
They have a good coach. They have probably the best coach in the league. They have a system in place. They know how to get talent. They know how to pay talent. It's a good program. They'll take steps back. Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback. But I think McVay went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. So, yeah, I think he can probably identify talent, build it, develop it, and win with it.
Isn't there a rumor going around, though, that when Stafford retires, McVay's going into broadcasting because he's done in L.A.?
That would be stupid. He should just demand more money or be released from his contract and go coach someplace with a good quarterback.
You want him to Jimmy Butler it? McVay
talking about both sides your mouth.
McVay threatened to retire a couple years ago, and then he basically came back and said, I can't. I love it too much. I think he might. I mean, I don't know.
You might love it a lot now, but once you don't make those playoff runs and you're like at the bottom of the NFC West and picking in the top 5, how much are you going to love it
Being
then?
an announcer seemed boring as fuck. Why would you want to do that? Just go do something else. Like, if you don't want to be a coach, he could find in some other front office job or something else in football where he gets paid money, but actually gets juice from it instead of going there talking about it's like doing that.
Yeah, it's boring. It's a lot more time in your hands. You get paid almost the same amount of money, but probably more money. The Rams have an awesome model. They didn't go to the bottom. They had a one poor season when Stafford got hurt, but beyond that, when their talent depleted, they just went and bought a shit ton of talent with draft picks and money. And then for 1 year of draft picks, they didn't have draft picks. And then the next year, look, all their draft picks are back, and you're picking at 22 instead of 12. Who gives?
It's weird.
Shit?
They seem to get good players from every draft pick every fucking year.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it when you actually have a stationary program in place and good people running it? You actually have success.
Assholes. Are donuts with filling actually donuts?
No, a donut has this hole in the middle, the jelly filled, which I don't like, or the cream filled, which Rich's mother loves. I just don't think that's a real donut.
It seems like it's more of a pastry than a donut.
Mm-hmm.
A donut seems to be a lighter thing, sugary, not filled with a filling. That's just a different item to me. It doesn't feel like a donut.
Yeah, it's a diabetes cake. It's not a donut. All right, there you go. Quick break. We'll talk some Celtics, and man, we got a lot to get to here. All right, quick break. We'll talk some Celtics. Okay, the Celtics are front-running pussies, and it's all Joe Mazzula's fault. Told you that years ago, and it's coming true yet again. The latest from the Celtics, they outlasted the Clippers on Wednesday, 117-113 in overtime after blowing a 6-point lead in regulation. What's a Springer? Jaden Springer is getting heralded as, the great savior in that game for his steals and his defensive presence. They went on to win the 31-13. They still don't look right. I haven't watched a ton of Celtics basketball front to end lately, but I did watch that Hawks game. And the end of that Hawks game in regulation, they lost in overtime. But at the end of the regulation, there's 12 seconds left or so. They're up by 3. They get the ball in. They get it to Drew Holiday at their end of the court, underneath the basket, wide open. Hawks were playing pressed first steals, 12 seconds in the game, they're down by 3. Drew Holiday, instead of just dunking the ball to go up by 5 with 10 seconds, dribbles it around and then ends up throwing it out of bounds, giving the Hawks the ball. From there, it was a slew of mental and stupid errors and inability to execute from Drew Holiday to Tatum. Quinta blew a defensive assignment. It was just a shit show. But that play, that Drew Holiday not dunking the ball, that's Joe Mazzula and modern NBA and just in your own head about your own stupid analytics. And there's 12 seconds, not 10 seconds. If it's under 10 seconds, then go up by 5. If it's over 10 seconds, dribble the ball out. Playing with your wiener and the clock at the same time instead of just go up by 2 fucking possessions with a dunk and make them score the basketball. It's a very simple game.
Play defense.
Stop the other team from scoring the basketball. That's what you should be focusing on. And look, and you have said it, Bobby, and we've been on, on your coattails a little bit, except they won, right? So the Mazzula ball worked. They won outright. I mean, nobody gave them a fight. They dominated last year. And this year, they're not. And we're right back to every time they're put into a position to close late and execute late, more often than not, it feels like they're not doing it and they're coming up short, or they're making really stupid errors, or Jason Tatum's missing a free throw with 7 seconds to go up 3. Same shit that we saw every year except for last year when they won the championship, when they were dialed in. So
their buttholes pucker up when they get into the fourth. You know how Isaiah Thomas was the king of the fourth? Well, this Celtics team is their butthole gets puckered up in the fourth. That's how they are. They just don't know what they're doing. They fucking play sloppy ass basketball. It seems like Joe Mazzula doesn't run any offense. He just says,
seems like.
I'm sorry, Bobby. He doesn't know how to run any kind of offense. You're welcome. Their defense efficiency, I think, is ranked like 26th in the final 4 minutes of a fourth quarter. So yeah, something definitely happens in the fourth, and they just fucking lose everything.
Yeah, Richard, you hit on a key point in the email there, which I really liked, about their lack of roster turnover and how it kind of affects into it. I think if you have a coach that doesn't affect any sort of actual change or do anything and is just going to the same message every day, you're going to need a turnover in the roster so that these new players can have that buy-in, because he's not providing a new message to these guys and they're just tuning them out. I mean, they're not bringing the same energy. That's clear.
No, and there is a boredom to it. There is an offense. It's a 5-out offense, and the idea is to drive and kick and get 3-pointers, and it's more of a philosophy than an actual offense. And it's really all of the NBA. It's kind of like baseball. The analysts have taken over, and 3s are better than 2s, and that's what you should be doing. The Celtics score 50% of their points by 3-pointers. The other teams in that category are the Bulls, the Hornets, I think the Warriors, and there might be some other crapbag team. That's not a good category to be in. That's not the top echelon NBA teams. And I'm starting to come to this conclusion, this take of this idea of why it's happening in the fourth quarter when you have guys that are as talented as Tatum and Brown. And the easy thing to say is, well, they pucker up and they have tight assholes and they don't know how to finish. But I don't know. I don't. Can we blame Mazzula for this? Can we say in our heyday of the NBA in the fourth quarter, they would run a set, what used to be called a set, and get Kobe Bryant in a spot where he knew what to do with the basketball, not 35 feet from the lane and have 3 guys rushing at you and have to kick it out and pass it 3 more times to get an open shot. Run a set, get somebody on the block to make a basket. That's what you should do, and the modern NBA just doesn't allow for it.
And they had defined roles as to who was going to do what in certain situations. And it was discussed ahead of time. They don't have that either. Everybody's equal. Everybody's the same. And they talk about their feelings and kumbaya. Bunch of queers.
The roster turnover is a blog I wrote on SimplesMindSports.com, which I think does have something to do with the complacency we're seeing in the middle of the NBA season. Middle of NBA season, it's normal for teams to dip. Especially championship teams, especially teams like the Celtics, who have played thousands of minutes of basketball with Jaylen Brown and Tatum making the playoffs every year of their career. However, most generally, you have new guys in your lineup. You're trying to work out rotations. You're trying to work out different assignments and find chemistry, and that distracts you from the monotony of it. Celtics brought every single player back. every one of them. And last year, they were on such autopilot, finding that chemistry, finding the sets, and dominating, that this year they think that it should just be the same. And when it's not, they've got nothing to turn to turn it up and figure out why it's not working. And their leader, Joe Mazzula, is, let's just embrace it. Losing sucks, but this is the part I love. I really want, you should be excited about this. If you're not excited about losing and figure it out, this is what we're here for. And the kumbaya kind of starting to sound like some corporate trail bullshit. So maybe this Jaron Springer move, getting some guys at the end, this is what he should be doing. Take your guys at the end of the bench and throw them in the middle of the season to shake things up and see what happens. You're losing these games anyway. Fucking shake it up.
He has been shaking it up though, because he did do a whole new rotation, like change your room with Tatum.
Don't defend him.
No, I'm just saying Tatum usually was the first guy to come off. Now Jaylen Brown's the first one coming off. He's losing minutes. Tatum's the one that's staying out there even longer in the first quarter, going into the second quarter. So he is trying to change things up. It just isn't working still.
Because he's
Yeah, they stopped that too. I think.
Yeah, I know. They're going back to it. They're going back to their normal rotation now.
Yeah, I don't want them to change things up with Tatum. Like, no, give that white guy at the end of the bench a run. So you have to play with someone different. You have to think. Give Jaron Springer a run. Like, put some more different players on the court, so it's not the same 8 or 9 guys running a 5-man weave to get an open 35-footer for 48 minutes every other night. They get bored. They're 27-year-old bajillionaires. You're gonna get bored out there. Shake it up. Deadline is February 3rd, I think, in the NBA. Beautiful segue here for shaking it up. Will Brad Stevens do anything? The one blemish I think he has in his resume this year, we were calling for front court depth. They didn't get any. Al Horford and Porzingis you just can't rely on them. And Lurch, what's the white guy's, the tall white guy, goofy fucking tall? Cornette.
Brian Scalabrine.
He's redhead. Luke Cornette is not good enough. Neemias Quinta is not good enough, and any experience. They needed front court depth. This is from Sports Illustrated. It's a mock trade. Take it for what it's worth. Something like this should happen. Might happen. Probably won't happen. Celtics receive Jacob Pulte and Luke Kennard. The Grizzlies get Drew Holiday and a 2026 second-round pick, and the Raptors get Marcus Smart and a 2025 first-round pick. The details on that don't totally matter. The reason why I think it's important, Celtics get their front court depth. The Luke Kennard kid shoots like 50% from 3. He'd be a Joe Mazzula wet dream. Drew Holiday leaving feels like it sucks on paper, but they can't and won't afford this roster next season. The team's going for sale. They're taking bids now. If John Henry buys it, they're all going to get sold off, so don't worry about that. If someone else buys it, at least one of these guys is gone that's making $30+ million a year. Drew Holiday makes sense because of his age and their duplicity at the position.
He's the worst of the starters.
And he's really sucked this year. So, I don't know. Your thoughts on the trade deadline. Will they do anything? Minor, big, somewhere in between? Should they do anything?
They're not going to do anything. They're going to run it back. They're going to just keep going with it. They're going to say this is just a bump in the road, and you're going to have the core guys here. And come next season or this offseason is when they're going to start shaking it up because of the new ownership, like you're saying.
They won't do anything. I don't think Brad Stevens has the trust that Mazzula can handle a midseason shakeup like that, so he's not going to do it. They're going to just keep it the same. And the best part about that trade is further dicking over Marcus Smart because he probably doesn't have a passport and would not be able to play in Canada.
That might be true, and I love how it always comes back to Joe Mazzula. The Jaden Springer kid is gone. He'll be gone for 2 second-round picks. He makes too much money, and they're going to try and shed some payroll. So keep an eye on that. All right, we do have to touch on the Bruins and the Red Sox really quickly, so we'll do that right after this. All right, the Bruins, Cam Neely, quote, there's 2 roads to go. One, we're buying, and the other one, maybe retooling a bit. We feel like we've got a playoff team here. We certainly don't want to jeopardize getting out of the playoffs because we made some moves that may be good for the future, but not good for the present. Through 47 games, the Bruins have a .532 points percentage. That's 10th in the Eastern Conference. That's not playoff worthy there, Cam. They're at minus 23 goal differential, second worst in the East, ahead of only John Henry's Pittsburgh Penguins, by the way. Opponents have outshot them in each of the last 6 games, 239 to 154. It's been even more lopsided in attempts, 511 attempts to 309. Since the holiday break, the Bruins have recorded a positive all situations goal for share in 1 of 11 games. I don't know what that means. The power play is 30th, and the penalty kill is 24th. Sunday's practice, the number 2 unit featured guys you've never heard of and Matt Poitras, and 2 other guys you've never heard of. So they suck. Bottom line, they are not as good as even their record says they are, and they certainly don't have a strong future. Cam Neely talks about retooling. They signed Elias Lindholm to be their number 1 center. He's not a number 1 center.
He fizzled out. Yeah, that didn't work out.
He's kind of a classic number 2 guy. They signed Zadorov to be a top pairing defenseman. He doesn't look like one right now. They still need a number 1 center. They definitely need a second. They need 2 second line wings. Their forwards suck. We said this going into the season. They spent all this money bulking up and getting bigger guys and spent some money on defense, and they got Mr. Business School Jeremy Swayman his money in goal. But they've got a team chock full of bottom sixers up there in their lineup outside of David Pastrnak, who has finally woken up a little bit here of late, and old ass Brad Marchand. Other than that, everyone's a bottom 6 guy. Yep. And
this is what they should have looked like. This is what they should have looked like last year, Rich. This is exactly what we thought the record would be. Not competing again for the President's Cup, a President's Trophy, not President's Cup, but yeah, like basically, this is like the roster. This is what they should look like on paper, and it's coming out to the record like that. So I think now is the time that I'm finally officially saying trade everybody. Brad Marchand, fucking David Pastrnak, Jeremy Swayman, whoever you can get assets for draft picks or anything else, trade away and rebuild, because that's what they truly need after all those times of keeping Patrice Bergeron, Krejci, and all those guys. It's finally time to say, rip the Band-Aid off, trade everybody. Everyone can go somewhere.
Yeah, I think of your big 3, Swayman, McAvoy, and Pastrnak. It's going to be hard to move those guys because of contracts, no trades, and the way the Bruins attach to their own players. Throw Brad Marchand on that list if you want to. But if they can move one of those guys for real assets, if they can move David Pastrnak for a haul, then you have to entertain it. If you can move 2 of them for 2 hauls, then you should entertain it, because I don't think those guys are lifting you, to any type of glory situation. They're not as good as you think they are, or we think they are. But something that you can just do, should be able to, and try to do tomorrow, guys like Trent Frederick, Charlie Coyle, Hampus Lindholm, Pavel Zacha, Brandon Carlo, that fodder, move them, man. 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, whatever. Dump the salaries. I don't give a shit. They are the core of mediocrity and below average, and in the quote unquote Cam Neely retooling, those are the exact guys. Eliminate the fodder, bring some new blood in here, and see if Pasternak and McAvoy and Swayman can lead them with some new guys in here. I doubt it, certainly in Pasternak's case, but I think that's where you should start. It's probably the easiest place to start in dumping some guys and turning things over, if that's what they're going to do, because they're not going to do a full blown blow up. They can't. Marchand, Pastrnak, McAvoy, Swayman, they're too hard to get rid of and actually get a return on to actually truly blow it up. It's just too hard. Even in the offseason, it'll be too hard. So they're going to have to retool. They should just dump the middle of that talent, the middle talent level of their roster, and bring up some young kids, see what pops, and then spend wisely in free agency next year. We'll see.
Bobby?
Oh, I agree with everything Richard said.
Thank you. You should agree with this too. The Red Sox will never change. We haven't talked about this. It's a little bit old, but they nearly took Jarren Duran to arbitration over $125,000. Not million, $125,000. $500,000. Here's how that works. Jaron Duran wanted a $4 million contract. The Red Sox said, no, we will give you a $3.5 million contract. That's a $500,000 difference. You go to arbitration, you're basically going to split the baby. So that's a $250,000 difference the Red Sox were going to have to pay. You're going to split that up over 2 years. It's $125,000 fucking dollars that they almost took their best player last year to arbitration. They won't change. They're not going to change. Don't trust the Red Sox. Boycott the Red Sox. Fuck the Red Sox. I'm not the biggest Jaron Duran fan, but how do you quibble over $125,000 for your best player who only wants $4 million? Jesus Christ. I could believe it. It made total sense that happened. But anybody that's giving them, I gave them credit at one point. We talked about this Red Sox team once every 4 months because we try to keep Bobby awake. I gave them credit. I think they'll be a better team on paper next year for the additions that they made. But they made that additions. Kudos, a little bit of kudos to Breslow. Thank you. I'm all fired up with fury. A little bit of credit to Breslow because we understand the constraints that they're working on. They will not spend money. And he was able to get Garrett Crochet over here in a trade, who's a top line starter, which is what they needed. But they very easily could have added 2 or 3 of those guys and stayed under the luxury tax. Oh, by the way, remember when Sam Kennedy said this on November 21st, 2024? This is from John Tomasi, RAP, NBC Sports Boston, John Tomasi. Remember when Red Sox chairman Tom Warner infamously declared, quote unquote, full throttle approach last offseason? He was a man on an island. No one backed him up. And Warner eventually backed down. Then he died. Actual real RIP to Tom Warner. He actually is dead. So rest in peace. It was an outlier proclamation ahead of a dreary lifeless offseason. It was an outlier proclamation ahead of a dreary, lifeless offseason. Remember, this article is from November 21st, 2024, where there was a little hint of optimism in this offseason. He goes on to say, this winter has at least rhetorically been very different. CEO Sam Kennedy, Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, and Manager Alex Cora have all made a point of noting the Red Sox are open for business. Until they sign a major free agent, fans will remain understandably skeptical. Still are, John. They didn't do it. They fucking lied to you. Here's what he said. The latest evidence came Tuesday at the MLB owner meetings where Kennedy spoke to Michael Silverman of the Boston Globe and continued pushing the notion that the Red Sox are willing to spend maybe beyond the $240 million luxury tax threshold in order to field a World Series contender. Quote, even if it takes us over the CBT, Kennedy told Silverman, our priority is to win 90 to 95 wins and winning the American League East, winning the division title for multiple years, even if it takes us over the CBT. You want to know how much money they've spent so far?
That's negative.
They are $158 million, $494 million payroll. That's good for 14th in the league. Their luxury tax is $240 million. So you're about, do the math for me, Banker Bobby, $74-ish million short of that. Sam? I don't know. No, that's right.
Bobby shook his head yes, like you were right.
I don't know, 240 minus 178 or 158. It's somewhere around there.
Yeah, not even close to 74. Anyways.
It's like 80.
It's close-ish.
It's close-ish. What is it, Ray? Do it.
I'm just saying you were wrong. That's all.
You didn't say I was wrong. You said it wasn't even close, but I think I was pretty close. That's definitely ballpark math.
Okay.
Especially if it's in my sports show. And I've given you that amount of time to do it in your head to prove I was wrong, but you still can't do it.
I forgot the numbers.
Oh, damn it. 69 plus 69. Walker Buehler, $21 million.
Yes!
Patrick Sandoval, $18 million. Patrick Sandoval can't pitch this year, by the way. Aroldis Chapman, $10.7 million. And Justin Wilson, something called Justin Wilson, $2.25 million. That's it. That's what they've spent in free agency. That's it. That's all. But they're not afraid to get the luxury tax. They're $74 million short, I think. If that's
great math. That's good math.
Thank you. You're welcome. They're never going to change. They're not going to change until John Henry, Tom Warner's it. They're not going to change. They talk to the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are the worst team in the East. We're also owned by the Fenway.
He's saving the money to buy the Celtics, allegedly.
Well, Liverpool, his best player, is reportedly doesn't want to come back either, so he's fucked.
Yeah, this is not a secret anymore, ladies and gentlemen. John Henry is demolishing professional sports teams left and right with his
Doing across the pond.
cheap tactics globally. He is demolishing sport franchises. You should boycott the Red Sox this year. They're going to continue to lie to you, and they're never going to change. Fuck the Red Sox. We're out on them. Quick break.
Are we doing Simplest Minds or are we doing Dr. Big Mac?
Dr. Big Mac, what do you... Yeah, some time in your hands today, Ray?
Nope. No, I didn't. I just playing around. Doing what our boys told us to do, so I'm trying to fucking figure it out.
I don't like Ray tonight. Did you?
He is such a smug asshole tonight.
When have you ever liked Ray on a Thursday night?
I mean, there's times you're palatable and you offer something. Tonight you are very smug and short.
It's because he's had sex.
It's the two sexies.
Yeah.
And did you gummy?
Nope. I've been taking allergy. I've had a sinus infection. You can hear me. I'm a little nasally.
Let's see. All right. What do you got here, big brain?
Basically, I thought on the toilet the other day, like, what kind of technology or what kind of things would we like to have back in the day when we were in high school that the kids have now and they don't use properly?
Okay. So it's just technology based?
Not technology, just like what did kids have that we didn't have back in the day that they just don't appreciate or realize they have the power in their hands right now?
I see.
So, I mean, one thing that when I think back, obviously we grew up without cell phones, and specifically, there was it was a phone that was cellular for a time, but it wasn't what the mini supercomputer that we all carry around now. And remember feeling so much smarter about myself because there wasn't anybody that ever fact check you or tell you were wrong, and you didn't fact check yourself. When you said something, that's fucking what it was, baby. Okay. Yeah. And now it's bullshit because everybody looks up and you're like, yeah, you're an asshole. So
yeah, unless you try to do math real quick in your head on a sports show and no one does the math for you in front of you. Other than that, you're right. People can just look it up for you. Yeah, I have a hard time with this. The only thing I could come up with was Google Maps is a real technological crunch for me. I would not want social media. That just would have got me in trouble. I don't like Ray's probably gonna go porn or something.
No. You guys are just fucking stupid and not thinking like a 13-year-old boy or 14-year-old boy. I wish I had a camera phone back in the day when I was in Nardone's class. I had Jess Parmelo here. I had Emily Palin here. Their fucking whale tails just setting up. Boop, click a fucking photo, go back to the house, jerk off fucking for endless time. God damn. Like these kids these days just don't get it. OnlyFans, imagine Miss Bell had an OnlyFans account and you go back home, you fucking see that, and you can go, holy shit, guys. And you can pass it around. You don't even have to go to anyone's house. You can just be like, Rich, and you send the fucking text message, and you say, look at this, and you send a link, and you say, holy shit, Miss Bell is fucking...
Yeah, that's assault, brother. I don't want... that's just why I would have been out on that. That's jail time. I don't want...
jail time?
I'm pretty sure when you were 14, you would have been down diggity downtown with that shit. Okay,
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm saying it would have gotten everybody in trouble, and I don't want to do that. We would have been so fucking stupid. The stupid shit that we did. You're gonna videotape. I know.
Yeah.
No.
You're not thinking about the other side of this. Do you remember
the online harassment we used to do? Could you imagine the online harassment we would do now?
Pulling people into AOL chat and just bully them. And that. They quickly could just leave when people like knew how to leave. This is crossing over into like the old thing. I don't know how you get online bullied. Fucking click it off. Like just get off.
You fucking losers. Just fucking say nope. I'm done.
Just click it off.
You're victim blaming online bullying.
No, just shut it off. Like
he's got it right. He's right.
I know he's right.
Put it down. Close the lid.
Oh, Dad, I'm getting bullied on Facebook. Well, here you go, honey. Delete the fucking Facebook account, you
Some
idiot.
Anonymous fucking pedo is calling me a loser. It's like, turn it off. Also, on the you want to take pictures of thongs and shit. It's called Quick Snaps. You can talk to me about it off air. I've got something for you. You just had to be a little bit more creative. You just want it too easy, right? You just want it too easy.
Well, no shit.
And the ease of that in the palm of your hands would have gotten you in so much fucking trouble. It would not have been worth it. It would not have been worth it. And college would have been worse. Oh God, no. No. I'm waiting for this fucking thing to come back and haunt us.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah. Next round of layoffs. So we saw your commentary
exactly,
on the Celtics.
I'm waiting for the day when I get called in the office at work and they'll be like, "So we have something we want to show you."
Well, that's why I'm Dr. Big Mac. I don't ever associate with where I really work, and everything's through Simple Mind Sports.
You're also a plumber, and nobody gives a fuck.
No one gives a fuck.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Head plumber.
Be like, newsflash: a plumber's an asshole.
Do you have a golden plunger? Exactly, bitch.
No. All right. Well, there you go. That was Dr. Big Mac's big brain. Drop in the comments what you wish you had when you were younger. Is that the premise?
I had it. It was Ray's mother's ass.
I was going that with a fleshlight.
Available.
I was gonna go fleshlight. Like, imagine Bobby's mom made a fleshlight, like her actual vagina as a fleshlight, and you could have fucked that back in the day. And then brought it on the bus when we're on the bus together with basketball, going, "Hey, Bobby, I fucked your mother."
Shit. That I'm on board for that. Okay, quick break. We'll be right back with Simplest Minds of the Week.
Oh, back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. Bit of a day walker myself.
Are you stupid or something? I'm as stupid as stupid does.
By the way, 240 minus 158, 83. I was totally in the ballpark. I said 75, 80. So fucking suck it, Ray.
You said 74, but anyways, go ahead. What do you want me to play first?
Let's go. Simplest Minds of the Week. We're gonna talk. We're gonna take the Philadelphia mayor here, getting excited for a little Philadelphia Eagles game.
Let me hear you all say E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
We've all been there.
You don't have to be smart to be in that position, clearly.
Spell Eagles.
E-L-G. Shit.
Just keep going with it. No one caught that.
Don't stop. No, I think that was the mayor. I don't know. You can never trust.
It was the mayor of Philadelphia. Yes.
Okay. You don't have to be smart to be the mayor. This one, there's no. This is more of a visual, so if you're listening, sorry, go check it out.
We're gonna let you talk. I'll put your microphone on so you can talk while we do this one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to describe it to you, but the picture is worth the visual.
Oh,
so
good.
If you're listening, go to the YouTube or socials and check it out. But I'll describe to you what we're looking at here. If you want.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute you.
Oh, it's okay. I also don't know what it says now. There was a man who looked like
Very Terry Larry. Unlawful
Possession of a raccoon.
what?
Unlawful possession of a raccoon. Wild.
Whoa, Bobby, say it one more time.
Unlawful possession of a raccoon.
Oh, okay. He said a raccoon before.
This is true. He also looks like a crackhead Tommy Leach. This pull it up again. Take a look again. Unlawful possession. Yeah, right. Ray sees it. Unlawful possession of a wild raccoon. Also wasn't wearing a headlamp while riding a bike. This guy got bagged.
Go to jail, motherfucker.
This guy got taken down. Whenever I see these, I just go to, I need like that's why is the show Cops still not on? And that's the only, I don't need like the domestic violence cops. Like I need that shit. Like we arrested this
Have
guy.
you ever seen Bait Car?
No. What is it?
It's something just like Cops, but it's called Bait Car, where they just set up a car that the police control and they put it in the hood and watch retards go try and steal it. And then they get in the car and drive away. And then the cops pull up behind them and the car stops because they control it and then arrest them.
It's called entrapment. Isn't that
Yeah, it's great. They go to jail.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Yeah. That one might come around. You might get an HR call on that one. And then lastly here, Elon Musk is a Nazi.
Thank you.
Did you
So-
see the pictures of this though? Some of these pictures are fucking wild. Oh shit, not that one. Hold on. Oh shit, not that one either. Ah, sorry. I didn't have it. I didn't have it queued up. I'm sorry.
Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those? A QAnon?
What?
Did you get those from the QAnon chat? There's an actual skit from what's the show? The League. There's a skit from the League where Will Sasso is there and he tells the guy to go and he does this motion. And they're like, you're doing the Hitler thing, which is basically the pictures you just showed up. Elon Musk fucking did the Hitler thing. Fucking did it.
He was giving his heart out. He was giving his heart out.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. It's a way funner story to say Elon Musk is a Hitler, or is a Nazi.
Well, yeah. I think he's just dumb. I think he's just a dork and didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Of course.
Wait, even. And Patrick knows everything about autistic.
Patrick thinks he's very autistic.
One to know one.
And he panicked. Yeah. Right. This has been the Semi Sports Show, Friday Rewind, January 24th. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.